What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I am back with another reaction video. Now, in this particular video, this woman is trying to make an excuse for being big. I want to play this clip. This woman is talking about out of shape women, but I want you to hear what they're saying. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Let's hop right into it. Here we go.
Most women are out of shape in every function you go to. It's just an observation. I actually include myself in this. I'm not in the best shape either. You look around the room and men be in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and a lot of them be in shape. Then you look around the room at the women, and the women be in their like 20s and 30s. You know what I'm saying? Younger women. And most, if not all, the women be out of shape.
Hey, hi, it's me, one of those out of shape 30-year-olds you're talking about, which apparently like also includes yourself. I'm really not sure why you made this video, girl. Putting aside the fact that I think all individuals should be able to have whatever body they feel most comfortable with and adjust it accordingly throughout their lifetimes, there's actually a pretty easy answer for this. We have jobs now. I can't stress to you guys enough how often the answer to your silly questions on the internet is simply women have rights, or at least had them for the last couple of decades.
Just because you have rights, does that mean that you're supposed to be unhealthy? You're just supposed to be big? And if that's your choice, that's your choice. If your choice is to be fat and sloppy and out of shape, that's your business. That you got to live with yourself. But it doesn't mean that everyone else has to accept that. You know, especially if you're dating, if you're trying to get a man, you got to understand that that may limit your possibilities. If it was just that simple of women having that choice and they're working and they want to be just fat and sloppy, that's fine. There are a lot of people that choose that. That's your choice. What often happens is if that's your choice and you go on with your choice and you're just happy and you're not complaining, then nobody would have anything to say. But the problem is people make choices in their lives and then they complain about them, and then you expect everybody else to cater to you because of your choice. That's when it becomes an issue. The minute the consequences start creeping up around your choices, this is where people want to have problems. When a man is not attracted to you, you don't get asked out on dates because you're too big. You don't want to pay for 2 seats on the plane because you're too big. Now it's somebody else's problem. Now you want people to make adjustments and changes for your choices. That's when it becomes a problem. Let's continue.
Until like the 2010s, when millennials started to enter the workforce, you still had a mostly female population who had grown up in an era where they did not have the same rights as men. They were heavily dependent on men. Therefore, looks were very important. You had to be attractive enough to find a man that could, give you some level of security for your lifetime. Pretty much every generation of women had to worry about their appearance more than their career, because no matter what you were able to achieve, you probably were never going to achieve as much as a husband would. Simply getting married to the right partner was going to get you a house way quicker than becoming a CEO. But now even married women have to be in the workforce. Now women are actually more highly educated than men. Now women are the breadwinners in a lot of situations. So we've kind of just done an Uno reverse on the men and said, hey, you remember when you guys used to have beer bellies and still expect to marry a model? That's us now. Welcome to my world. When you don't have to depend on a man to make sure that you are financially secure for your life, you let go a little bit. You eat out a little bit more. And also the fact that none of us are really enjoying the men that are on the market these days. I'm going to brunch and dinner a lot more with my girls. And you know what? They buy appetizers and dessert. So yeah, if y'all want women to get back in shape, then tell the men to start being men. These men are spending so much time in the gym and not enough time in therapy. That's why they look good, but on the inside, they're hollow and shallow and everything we don't want to deal with.
But the women aren't? Come on now. You gotta be kidding me. So the men are hollow and shallow and everything you don't want to deal with, and y'all are the perfect specimens? If you're sitting back because you got to go to work and take care of yourself and you're getting fat and eating everything, you might have some mental issues as well. A lot of these women aren't happy in these situations. You have a bunch of women who have fought to be independent women in the workforce, and now that they have it, these women it's not smooth sailing for a lot of these independent boss chicks. There are actually more women complaining about having to work and do it all by themselves. They don't want to. And on top of that, you're drowning your feelings and emotions in ice cream and food, getting big as ever, making yourself even less attractive to men that you might want. And now somehow you're still complaining about the men who are in the gym taking care of themselves, making sure that they're healthy so they can live longer. You want them out of the gym and to come and cater to y'all. I mean, come on, I don't understand. I tell you, it's a complaint all the time with women. You could just sit back and eat your feelings and be big as ever and not try to do anything to get yourself in shape. But you're complaining about men who are in shape and they're the shallow, hollow ones and you don't want them? Every excuse to not take any accountability for your own actions. And then wonder why men don't want these women. But anyway, let's continue.
Sidebar, I can look all the way back to my baby's first Christmas picture and recognize that I have been thick since I came out of my mama. Like, what's really good with y'all wanting women to just exist in these small, petite forms, whether or not that's your natural circumstance? At the end of the day, I do what I need to do to stay healthy and not replace my entire closet because I went up 2 more clothing sizes. That's about it. And for those of you who want to come into my comments right now talking about, well, big people don't always be healthy, like, this is America, literally like the fattest country in the world, the country with like some of the worst healthcare amongst developed nations. Health is not really a thing here. So yeah, stop being weird. Like, Skinny Talk is such a weird place, and I'm sorry that I ended up on it.
Okay, you guys, so it has been brought to my attention all up on my timeline. Black women are being called out for their weight. I swear we become a topic of conversation at least once or twice a day. Something is we're always being dragged into the forefront. Like, we did not sign up to be the strongest soldier. But anyway, here's my 2 cents on why the population of black women are quote unquote overweight, right? For one, everybody's weight, just because you see a thin person does not mean that they are healthy.
Well, yeah, that's true. But when we see a big person, we know for sure that's probably more of an unhealthy frame. Just saying, if you're like 5'2" and you 280, 300 pounds, we know that that's unhealthy. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
People correspond that with whatever. One, people have different body indexes and different, let's hear it for genetics. And so a lot of times genetically things can be passed down through generations, right? If we take it all the way back to slavery times, women that were in the field and everything like that, were always stockier. Black women have always been different as far as our muscle mass.
Black women in the 50s and 60s were mostly slim. You didn't see these big old women back in that time. A lot of the women that you saw back then were all on the smaller side. And even if you did see different variations of sizes, some women are a little thicker than the others, but you didn't see like what you see now. When you could just go outside and go to Walmart and you see big people everywhere. You didn't see all of that. Not saying that there weren't anybody that was big, but we didn't see it. You go back to the movies, go back to a lot of the women around that time. Most of these women were smaller. They were smaller. They weren't as big as women are today. So even in the times that people would say were more harsher, people were thinner. Now that women and people have more opportunities and more access, they are bigger. That's just what it is. We can't put it on economic issues, because even when you would say economic issues for black people were worse, they were thinner. Now that you have access to everything, now they're just eating, and it's become a major problem. But let's continue.
A lot of times the average black woman holds a lot of her weight in her hips. So do the Boricuas, so do Latino women. We just carry it differently. However, to be specific, in this day and age, I firmly believe that a lot of the weight gain has a lot to do with stress. We are not supposed to be using this amount of our mind and our hearts in society than we do. In order for a black woman to show up the way that she needs to show up in society, whether that's as a mom figure, as an employee or a boss, as a wife, as a friend, whatever the case may be, anyone for that matter, you need food for fuel. Now, mind you, is there such thing as overindulging? Absolutely. But do I feel like the person that you see walking down the street, if she's super thick, do I feel like she's the unhealthiest? No. You see Samoans, their body index is completely different. So what I'm gonna need y'all to do is leave black women up out of the conversation in general. Want us to be healthy? How about y'all set up a system that's healthier for us? How about instead of us fighting for our lives in comments or fighting to be picked by the same men that we give birth to, how about we give that a more comfortable slate to be approachable with?
No, and this is another thing. See, always looking for somebody else to help. Nobody else has to set up anything for you. That's for you to do. If you don't like your size, if you are unhealthy or unhappy with where you are, you make the changes for it. If you don't want to do that, don't do it. That's up to you. But how other people view you or however other people see you, that's what they see. You can't control what people think and how they feel. You can only control you. And if you don't like a certain outcome, it's up to you to make changes. That's nobody else's responsibility. But you can't control. You can't, well, what you not gonna do? No, people have opinions. People are gonna speak their opinion. We're in the day and age of social media. That's what people do all day. If you don't like the opinion of what somebody has to say about your size, then if you don't like it, then you have to make some changes, because people are going to have opinions. They always have. It's just more noticeable because we have social media. Let's continue.
But nonetheless, at the end of the day, Black women, you are perfect the way that you are. If you feel like you are overindulging, speak to somebody. Use ChatGPT, find resources, find groups to work out in, but don't let nobody on this app dictate how you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to look like. Only you can define what you are ready for and what you're able to, and do not beat yourself up over these freaking videos that you see. And regardless, let's also clock this real quick. Regardless of how we are shaped, we will forever be over-sexualized, especially the thick ones. So it was a point where people didn't want to get thick anymore because it brought too much attention. The way that I am shaped, I had one video that went viral based off of just my shape alone. I would be considered overweight, right? Which is completely fine. But one, I know how to get back to my normal BMI, even though we don't even dictate, weight by BMI anymore. But circumstantial, you have hormonal situations, you have health risks, you have different things that genuinely show up differently in people's bodies, including stress. So, and let's not forget that this year hasn't been stressful as enough. So unless y'all are suggesting Black women, y'all look good, let's get y'all outside, let's do this, let's do that. Also, if it was a safer environment, I can't express that enough. If it was safer for us to be out here, we would be out here in the woods like everybody else, hiking and running. But no, we be the main targets on everybody's mind, clearly.
Baby, listen, you could work out in your house. Y'all ain't trying to go hiking and climbing and doing all that. There are many different ways for you. If the 600-pound life people could sit in their chair and do that little, move their legs and do the little cycle motion and lift their arms, you can too. It's always every excuse for doing something. And it's not anybody else's responsibility to set something up for you. You have to set it up for your damn self. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's your business. You don't have to. But it's nobody else's responsibility. You got to get up and do that for yourself, just like everybody else. If you want to make a change, make the change. Do it. It's not always going to be easy, but work out. Start. But to blame all this other stuff, no. Calories in, calories out. There are people who have hormonal issues and different things that can affect that. But overall, if you put down the cakes, the cookies, and the pies, and the soda, you can start there, and that could make a difference alone. So stop with the excuses. If you don't want to be fat no more, get up and do something. If you cool being that way, do you. Because nobody can make you change. You gotta want it, and that's just that. So listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.